Hey guys, what's up? This is Shimo here. This is just gonna be a little video on combat level, exactly how it works, some ways I'm improving it, and let's get into it. Now, before I'm not gonna be like, okay, equip that, equip this, equip that. It'll increase your percentage by, it'll increase your number by like 6k or stuff like that. I would stop giving you guys that kind of information or stop sharing that. Main reason why is because it scales off your own character's weapon and their gear. Weapon, gear, all the factors into it because they all entwine with one another. Also, character bias as well because max MP will be affected in this as well. Along with certain characters have certain higher damage than everyone. So, like for example, if I were to equip on my Ultron right here, my combat level increases by 14.5k. But if I were to put on a different weapon and go back to this, it lowers. Although it's the same piece of accessory, technically my damage did go down, so therefore the scaling of it is different. Another thing I want to showcase is certain stat priorities. So like this magic necklace here gives me 30% MP gain when attacking and when attacked, along with some extra random effects, although the movement speed isn't added on, which I'll go into later. Combat level is 2070. Well, if I were to go for my Ring of Fury, it's 4827. So they basically made a formula that's saying that Awakening Charge is better than MP gain in terms of a DPS increase. Although it's not directly affecting the DPS, Awakenings do affect your damage output, so they put that in the formula. However, they are updating the math on it, and they're making changes, so everyone's going to have a spike of a combat level a couple weeks after this is posted. It may have already happened if you're watching this late. If you're watching it early, then it hasn't happened yet, but yeah. Now, pretty much showcasing everything. All the stats increase, so like, are shown in here. Now, everything in this section here will affect combat level, and everything in here will affect defensive level. That's how they sorted it out, that's how it's organized. However, something new is that they actually made ERP in it, so it would affect combat level. So, if you check out here, my combat level is basically 189,000. But if I were to change my resonance to my item drop in EXP, it went down by about 20k. So, yeah. That is showcasing the fact that if you guys are one of those people that like to farm and stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, I can't do my Henan, I can't do my raid. Well, you might have to do a couple of sacrifices if you were to run, if you can't afford enhance, sadly. But however, there are some other factors on gear. So let's talk about this. Oh, oops, wrong piece. So pretty much when I equip gear, it'll be like, oh yeah, look at the combat level increase. These two will be pretty good, but then my top piece is a lot higher. Main reason why is because that attacked attacks is actually being added into here. If you look here, the polarized damage dealt and received 8%. Well, these ones, although they are high skill damage increases, this one increases my strength damage and this one increases my physical attack power, they are technically not calculated. Main reason why is because they're buffs. So buffs effects sadly don't affect your combat level, which I feel like is a little bit upsetting. But they would have to come up with a whole new formula just for that kind of effect, and I can understand why it's not in the game. If you guys complain enough, maybe they'll add it in. Personally, I feel like that there should be something like that, but I just don't know how to actually implement it. Another thing I'm going to showcase is, if you see my glove here, it gives a good combat level, but then when I put on this random piece of equipment I identified that gives me all skill damage 10%, this is showcasing that the buff doesn't actually add on, and this isn't even like socketed or anything, and it's already giving me more combat than my glove. Main reason why is also because the set effect, but this is to showcase the fact of, look at my skill damage of 12.5. If I put on the glove, 22.5. This is why the all skill damage glove is really good for boosting up your combat level, because it boosts up all those skill damages, which will increase my combat level by a ton. But if I were to put these shoes and then go back to my gloves, it increases more because I'm getting the 10% skill damage along with the sockets, along with some other stuff. So yeah, set effects are pretty important. especially for like costumes and accessories. Sadly, if you can't afford something like an Iceburner costume, there's an EV shop now. You might have to look into a certain set, look for certain sets that you would want, equip those, and it will help you out. Magic Wardrobe them later and slowly farm up for an Iceburner set if you need to increase your combat level. Also, costume suits, you can just go for that Sage Socket so it'll help you out even more. And then let's talk about accessories. Now, some of you guys might not have the leisurely of going for like an Iceburner accessory and building off of that, which makes perfect sense. However, I'm going to showcase that there are really good accessories that are outside of it that will increase your combat level by a good percentage from where it is at. First one I want to state out is Sinister Intent. So I want you to not pay attention to exactly the numbers that are changing on here, but instead the combat increasing over time when equipping it. So like 735, 960, 836, I equip one, go to the second one. Basically increases it by a good chunk. Either one, both of these, because it's getting the 2-piece set effect, so bam. 3-piece set effects increasing even more. So that's pretty good. Now, luckily for Dimension Master accessories, there are a bunch of them that you can just use to fill out for the set effects. So I would work on farming these, but then figuring out what accessories you want to go for. Now, some good accessories to increase your stats are going to be starting off at Lanox. Igneos is a really popular and good one, gives you 2.5 critical, a little bit of physical and magical increase, and then a percent multiplier for physical and magical increase, which is pretty good. Also, if you don't have a magic necklace and you're not socketing MP gain, the set effect could be pretty good, just because we saw that MP gain does affect the value, plus it also gives you a bit of a attack speed, and also the random effects that you can get, like critical or maximize or anything that affects combat level, that's pretty good. So maybe if you don't have the Dimension Master set up, you could go for some random boss accessories and just slap those on for the random identification that you get from it. However, there are some other accessories as well, such as Maya giving another good multiplier. Deco just gives you a little bit of critical maximize and awakening charge. But again, like you want to like look into it, see what kind of stats you want. You don't really care that much about defensive because that's for defensive properties. This is combat level, so it's trying to scale off your damage. Solus is a really good accessory setup for the physical and magical multiplier again. And then once you go to Elrianon, accessories get a little bit more pricey. But the set effect on these are really good along with the identifications, as shown on my own gear. I got double physical attack power line scalings, so you go on here and then all skill damage on here. So that's pretty much a good multipliers on that. Also, a good thing to state out is that pet also affects combat level before I forget. Well, if I unsummon this, 2,000 loss. Ma'am, 2,000 good. Well, 1,300 actually, now that I looked at it properly. So if you're not very picky with your pet, figuring out which one you exactly want and stuff like that, like, wow, this one gave me a lot more. Because this one actually has a damage multiplier and also max MP. So personally, if you're going to, let's say, the ED mall right here, you can look through all the stuff, look at the set effects, see which ones you would want. And then both looks and also combat level if you don't have Iceburner. There are a bunch of pets in here and also fetch. Personally, I found the best pet to be the hatchling, if I recall correctly. I don't know. Let me look this up real quick. Oh yeah, looking up in a video how professional of me. Personally, I get most of my information from a wiki. If you guys don't know that, I'll probably put that down below now, because that's pretty much where a lot of the information is. It's really well sorted out, stuff like that. But I will be making guides just to make it easier on you guys, and you guys don't have to search it up. Looking it up still. Okay, so there's Hatchling, which for set effects will increase your physical and magical by 1%. Defense gives you a bit of crit. We got the Mystic. Okay, Mystic seems to be the best one. For it will increase your physical and magical by 2%, and then also give you critical 2% and MP gain on attack. So this one might be the best one in terms of DPS increased. Do you like some of the other pets for looks? Okay, if you want to buy them for inventory, that is fine, but yeah. Pets do affect your combat level, and I believe Mystic to be the best one for increasing as much as possible. The Foru and Tree Knight do have some pretty good ones, but sadly they aren't as high as the Mystic ones. But yeah, pretty much that's going to be the end of the video. If you guys have any questions, just be sure to ask down below, or if I left out anything, also put that down below, or just say hi. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!